The visitors are starting to build up a bit now. There's quite a few bumblebees around, especially on the lavender, on the new scabious, and on that white buddleia. The purple and the pink buddleia has gone through its first flush of flowers. It's been pruned back so that the side growths will grow on. It will bloom again later in the year. And there's a butterfly over there, but I will see it. It has landed. I will see if I can get close. This is a new type. We haven't filmed this before. It's just a matter of how close I can get and whether I can find it on the zoom. So I'm holding the camera while I watch the butterfly at the moment, so I'm not trying to film it. Right. Now we'll try. This is not going to be easy. It's right up the top of the bamboo, well, near the top of the bamboo. So I've got to try and find it with the zoom, which is not easy to say the least. In fact, I'm not going to bother because I'm not going to get a good shot of it and it's got its wings closed. We'll wait. Be patient. But it is in fact a meadow brown. You might be able to zoom in on it if, depending on what sort of equipment you're watching on. It's in the middle of the shot at the moment on a dead leaf. Anyway, they're getting about. The other day I had 3 different types of butterflies in the garden at the same time, but we've had a lot of rain lately. The red campion, is that what it's called? I'm terrible at names for garden plants. I don't forget my orchids very often. But see, there's a type of bumblebee on the scabious. That's a buff-tailed or white-tailed bumblebee. Busying away. But yeah, there's 4 or 5 different types of bees in the garden now. The red campion is a little disappointing on the grounds that I haven't seen a bee or a butterfly land on it yet. Okay, it's not a mass blooming, which when you see it in the wild it normally is. You know, there's just a mass of blooms, often in a place where there isn't anything else. I wonder. Anyway, I'm looking forward to these coming out. This is Helenium, and they should complement these nice yellow blooms, although somebody's found a shady spot. This ground cover here with the yellow blooms on, that is attracting bees, butterflies and hoverflies, so that's actually doing well. Pleased with that. You might be able to see these, but as I said, it's very difficult to me to work out what I'm actually focusing on. But on the top of the Himalayan honeysuckle there's 2 damselflies there, the bronzy coloured ones. Those I have a lot of. I've got blue ones, turquoise and those bronzy coloured ones, and I've seen 2 different types of dragonflies. So the amount of insect life in here is getting better. I won't say it's good, it's nothing like. If you take, I had a small buddleia in the front garden at the other place when I never used to film things like that, and at one point I counted 23 small tortoiseshell butterflies along with painted ladies, red admirals and peacocks and some commas, all on the bush at the same time. You know, I've yet to have more than 3 or 4 butterflies in this garden at the same time. So, yeah, the numbers are just dropping. Anyway, added on the end, we've got a nice white... oh, that played tricks with the camera, coming from bright sun to not bright sun. We've got a nice white foxglove that's come out recently. This foxglove's on its last legs, there's not many blooms left, but we have some new colour. And it's tucked away. there's more to come, but it's effectively a plant that was planted as a clump. It's grown up, but then it's flopped. But in here we have Crocosmia. How about that for a splash of brilliant colour? Now they're often a yellowy orangey colour, but they do go through to deep reds from yellows. I think you can even get creamy coloured ones, but that's a first. That's just opened, and then there's one that's flopped over here and there's one that's standing bolt upright. That's going to look smashing when that comes out, because that's going to be against, it's going to stand out. And then these, whatever they are, phlox, I think, can't remember, they're getting to the point where they should start producing some blooms soon. They've grown height, they've got branching, they've got everything going apart from the actual blooms, but they should come soon. There's another white foxglove tucked up in there, and there's plenty more. If you look down there, there's lots of shorter ones. Now these are on the ones that I bought, they're hybrids, and look at the way they grow. Look where that one was cut off. Look how many shoots have come up. They're all going to bloom. So these are incredibly vigorous and floriferous. They have lots of flowers. That word always struggles. I always struggle with that word. Yes, so there's a big bumblebee going in on the fuchsia. You'd hear it if you didn't see it. They get right up inside. And this fuchsia does look good. That is a really big bumblebee. So we've got some bees. There are a few honeybees around, not many. And we've got, as I said, quite a few different types of bumblebees. That's good. And we've had a lot of rain, but we're not having rain today. We've got brilliant sunshine. If the weather is suitable next week, I'm going to attempt to attack the shed. Now I'm debating, because I'm not sure I can justify the money. Trying to get the money out of the landlord is probably like finding hen's teeth. I can sort of understand why, but at the end of the day, if you don't put some investment in maintenance, then things fall apart. The felt on the roof has gone, and it looks awful. If I paint the shed and make it look all nice, and that section of the fence and everything, and tidy up this area, it doesn't stop it falling apart. This, if you look at the bottom of the shed, it's rotting, and up in that corner it's just as bad. Painting it is not going to, it might stop it getting any worse, but it's not going to make it better, is it? And the same with the decking. The decking is starting to, the decking itself, the boards are okay. It's what's holding them up that's rotting away. And I mean, it's already failed up in that corner. So, it's not had the maintenance in the past. And I can only maintain what's left. And if what's left's not in very good condition, all I can do is hopefully stop it getting any worse. So, weather permitting, after this weekend, I think I will attack the shed. And that means fixing up that board. I've got a piece of timber, nice big sturdy piece of ply to screw onto the end of the shed and onto that post. And that means I can get rid of this, because that stops the wind blowing the fence over, because the post is broken off at the bottom. So by having a piece of board screwed into the post and into the side of the shed, I make it rigid, and that should stop it blowing over. But to fix the board, I need to be able to decorate, and to decorate I need the weather, if you see what I mean. So it all has to come together, and then we'll get the shed painted up, get it all into that nice forest green, and that will make this corner look so much better. And people have said, why don't you paint the bench and the table black to go with your staging. And yes, I like the idea, but I haven't got enough stain left to be able to do that, so I'd have to buy some more. And when I bought it, I'm pretty sure it only came in one size, and that size was 30 quid. I meant the size of the tin was they didn't do a smaller tin, if you know what I mean, and the tin that they did was 30 quid. So a fair old bit of money. And if I'm going to pay out for the felt on the roof, that's 40-50 quid's worth to refelt that. And as I said, I wouldn't get it back from the landlord, so I'd have to fund it myself. And the daft thing is, I know it sounds odd, and I think they class me as a good tenant on the grounds they didn't even do my last house inspection, they just skipped it. So I think they must assume that I'm a good tenant. Nonetheless, the owner, the landlord, could still look up and kick me out any time. They could decide they want to sell the property because it was an investment and it's earned lots of money over the years and it's now worth selling, or they might want to come back here and retire. There's a jay. I bet you didn't get that. That was a jay just flew up in there. Very attractive bird. Look it up. European jay. Gorgeous colours. Horrible noise it makes, but nice to look at. But yeah, I've always got this worry that if I spend money making the place look nice, I could get it thrown back in my face. So I don't know what to do. Do I make this whole area look good for me? Or, I'm going to paint the shed and the fence anyway. I'm going to do that bit. But whether I do the table and the bench and the roof, that's additional expense. And I wouldn't get it back. Oh, hello, somebody's woken up. Difficult decisions. I don't know how much I'm prepared to put into this on the grounds. If I could guarantee that the landlord's going to let me stay here at least another 10 years, I'd be more than willing to spend the money. But I don't know that, and there is no guarantees with rental properties. There never is. So, I've done a lot of work, but most of the work I've done hasn't cost me much. I've been very, very lucky and had an awful lot of plants donated. All the timber and everything for the staging, that was all free, from people's rubbish, people thrown out. The tubs and everything in the garden, I already had those, they came from the other house. So, the plants have been bought over time, but again, a lot of those plants were gifted. The bonsai I already had, I've added a few, but not much. So I haven't spent an awful lot, but I've spent nothing on the inside. Now, I won't be able to film that, but no, it's gone now. I say there was a blue butterfly up on the top of next door's hedge. You can just see the bits of their hedge sticking up. There was a blue butterfly. That'll be a holly blue, I expect. But yeah, there's a few more insects around, and I've just literally sat down and had my lunch. I had a glass of wine and some cheese and biscuits, and sat in the sun for half an hour. And that's why I wanted to get this garden looking nice, so that I can sit out in it more often. And I'm starting to do it more often, weather permitting. That I can't do anything about. There's the blue butterfly. Oh, it's gone again. It's flitting around, and they're tiny, so trying to catch them at distance on film is almost impossible. And they are incredibly difficult to film when they come in the garden, because they tend to land quite high up and they close their wings and they just disappear. I can't zoom in, I can't find them. Still, this is a nice place to be. I can't believe how lucky. It's almost as though it was meant to be. A lot of the other places I already looked at before I got this place, if I'd ended up getting them, I'd have had so many hassles. and I don't think I'd have been happy in any of them. I mean, the townhouse in Salisbury, it did have a nice little back garden. It was contained, had a tiny little conservatory, and it was on 3 floors. You know, so you got your kitchen on one floor, your lounge on another floor, and your bedroom and your bathroom on another floor. And it was it was right in town. It was not far off the main ring road, so I'd have had traffic noise. I don't think I'd have been happy there. The place in the country that I looked at, the garden was quite large and it was totally overgrown and unkempt. The greenhouse had no glass in it. It was all broken, and the broken glass was all over the place. It had a staircase that was unworkable. It was narrow and steep. I wouldn't have been able to get any furniture up that staircase. Just wouldn't have worked. So a lot of the places I looked at, they just wouldn't have been good. And then I found this place in my local area, the area I know well. So I know where all the resources are, you know, where the shops are, everything. Enclosed garden, so cats are safe. Well, cats then are singular now. And, you know, I had a shed to keep my tools in. I had a patio, decking area to sit on. Low maintenance garden. The garden was in a hell of a state, totally overgrown and unkempt, but it had the basis of something to work with. I mean, it had the 3 bedrooms, so one for Hannah, one for me, and one that I turned into the music room, which I don't use. You know, nice sized lounge for my equipment, and a really good conservatory to keep the orchids and everything in. So I felt lucky here, I really did. And with the security at the front, you know, you've got electronic gates that you need a special gadget to press a button and send a code to us, send a signal to actually open the gates to get in. So it's very secure. Yeah, felt lucky here. It's almost as though it was meant to be. But I have no guarantee how long I can stay. He gets flustered when he gets too hot. He doesn't know whether to find somewhere shady or what to do you? Hey. He's probably overheating. But, anyway, he enjoys being out in the sun, that's good. And I'm waffling and I'm using up camera time, and I'm going to end looking at this geranium, which is stunning. These types of geraniums, hardy geraniums like this, are quite rampant as far as their growth is concerned, and they do wander around and don't keep themselves very compact. This one doesn't do bad. I mean, okay, it's trying to grow across the path, but that bit can be trimmed off, can't it? But the colouring on this really warrants attention. This is a single type, so all of these blooms are on the same plant. Okay, you know, it's grown and spread, but it's the same. So there's a honeybee, so they are around. And if you look at that plant and look at that colour, let me put the shade on it. The camera will probably show the colours better. So that is one, and look at that one. And then look at this one. They're all on the same plant. And look, there's another honeybee down there. If you just have a quick look round, there's hoverflies. There's 2 honeybees at the moment. 3, just seen another one lower down. They are getting around. So they're starting to come into the garden. And that, I don't know, I really have been looking forward to this. They're getting around. Good stuff. See you next time. Thanks for listening to all the waffle and wanderings, meanderings of my mind. That's what we're really doing. And wondering what to do over here? Do I do the bare minimum, or do I put some effort and expense into getting this really to look nice? Food for thought.